Today, we're diving into a really powerful story from Islamic tradition about a man named Jurayj. His faith was, well, about to be put through the ultimate test. It's a story that makes you ask a pretty tough question. What do you do when your greatest calling clashes with your most basic duty?
So let's just jump right into the core of it with this question. Picture this. You are deep in the zone, doing the most important work of your life, your absolute purpose. And right in the middle of it, your mother calls for you. Do you stop or do you keep going? That is the exact spot our main character, Jurayj, finds himself in.
So, who was this guy, Jurayj? Well, he wasn't just your average believer. This was a man who had dedicated his entire life to worship. He lived alone in a little hermitage he built, totally committed to praying without any interruptions.
And this is where his test really begins. 3 days in a row, his mother comes to his little sanctuary and calls out his name. Each time, he's in the middle of his prayers. You can almost hear the debate in his head, my Lord, my mother, or my prayer. And for 3 straight days, he chooses the prayer.
Wow. So after being ignored for the 3rd time, his mother, feeling hurt and frustrated, makes this fateful prayer against him. It's a shocking and really specific curse that is about to kickstart an unbelievable trial for Jurayj.
See, Jurayj's reputation for being this incredibly pious man was known all over the region. It was so well known, in fact, that a local prostitute actually boasted to the townspeople that she could seduce him. And right there, a plot to tear down his reputation was born.
So the trap is set. The prostitute goes to Jurayj, but true to his character, he doesn't give her the time of day. But she doesn't give up on her plan. Instead, she goes and finds a local shepherd, and later, when she gives birth to a baby, she holds him up for the whole town to see and claims the father is none other than the holy man Jurayj. The reaction from the community is just swift and brutal. They believe the lie instantly, without a single question. They drag Jurayj out, tear down his place of worship, and start beating him. His whole world just crumbles around him, all because of one lie.
And this is what shows you the true depth of this man's faith. He's surrounded by the ruins of his life's work, his reputation is destroyed, and what does he ask for? He just asks them to give him a moment to pray. His first instinct is to turn back to the very thing that seems to have caused all this trouble.
So, after he prays, Jurayj gets up, walks over to the newborn baby, and in front of the entire angry mob, he gently pokes the baby's stomach and asks this impossible question. Can you just imagine that scene? This disgraced man, a tiny infant, and a crowd just holding its breath.
And then, something miraculous happens. The infant speaks. The baby answers loud and clear for everyone to hear that its father is the shepherd. And just like that, with a single miracle, the lie is shattered and Jurayj's name is cleared. The crowd is just floored. They go from being a furious mob to completely humbled. The same people who were just attacking him are now kissing his hands, begging him to forgive them. Their judgment was completely, miraculously wrong.
Overcome with guilt, the people offer to rebuild his hermitage, but this time with gold and silver. But his answer just shows his incredible humility. He doesn't want riches or fame. He just asks them to rebuild it with mud, exactly the way it was before.
So what an amazing story, right? A test of faith, a terrible accusation, and then a stunning miracle. But what's the ultimate moral here? What are we supposed to learn from everything Jurayj went through?
The key lesson, the big one, revolves around the incredibly high status of a mother. Jurayj's whole nightmare started because he chose his voluntary prayers over answering his mother's call. And to really put this in perspective, the source material points out that even the Prophet Muhammad was known to shorten a formal, obligatory prayer if he heard a child crying nearby. The message is pretty clear. Your duty to your parents, especially your mother, is absolutely huge.
And that leaves us with one last question to think about. Jurayj was pursuing his highest spiritual purpose, but in doing that, he overlooked a fundamental human duty. So it makes you wonder, right? In our own lives, as we're chasing our big goals and passions, how do we make sure we don't lose sight of the people and the duties that truly ground us?